The maintenance tunnel smelled like metal and old air. Lily Carter crawled through the narrow space with a sandwich wrapped in paper. Her knees hurt from the rough floor, but she didn't care. Badger was waiting for her. She had been 8 years old for 3 weeks now. Her father said she was growing up too fast. Maybe he was right. Most 8-year-olds didn't sneak through space station tunnels to feed wild animals. But most 8-year-olds still had their mothers. The honey badger appeared from behind a bundle of pipes. His black and white fur was dirty, and one ear had a notch from some old fight. He made a chittering sound when he saw Lily. She smiled and unwrapped the sandwich. "I brought turkey today," she whispered. "Stole it from the cafeteria when nobody was looking." Badger ate from her hand. His teeth were sharp, but he was always gentle with her. Everyone else who got near him got bitten. Dr. Okonkwo said honey badgers were aggressive by nature. Lily thought Badger was just careful about who he trusted. She understood that feeling. "My mom would have liked you," Lily said, stroking his fur. "She studied animals from Earth. Did I tell you that already?" "I tell you lots of things. Sometimes I forget what I already said." Badger finished eating and climbed into her lap. He was heavier than he looked. Lily held him close and felt his heartbeat against her chest. This was the only time she felt calm anymore. The station was loud and full of aliens who stared at humans like they were interesting bugs. Her father worked all the time. The other kids at school were mean. But Badger didn't care that she was human, or that she cried sometimes, or that she lived on a prison station at the edge of space. He just cared that she brought food and spoke softly and never hurt him. "I should go," Lily said after a while. "Dad will notice if I'm gone too long." She put Badger down gently. He followed her to the tunnel entrance and watched as she crawled away. She always looked back 3 times before the tunnel turned. He was always still watching. Lily climbed out through a vent near the science wing. She brushed dust off her clothes and tried to look normal. The corridor was busy with workers changing shifts. A tall Vormacht walked past and didn't even glance at her. Good. Being invisible was useful. She made it halfway to the residential section before her luck ran out. "Stop right there." "Child." The voice was cold and sharp. Lily froze. She turned slowly and saw Chief Security Officer Draven Rule standing behind her. He was nearly 7 feet tall with green scales and yellow eyes that saw everything. His uniform was perfect. His badge gleamed under the station lights. Lily had spent 2 years avoiding him. He hated humans. He especially hated human children running around his station. "You came from the restricted maintenance sector," Rule said. He didn't ask. He stated it like a fact. "That area is off limits to civilians." "I was just exploring," Lily said. Her voice came out smaller than she wanted. "Exploring." Rule smiled, showing too many teeth. "And what did you find while exploring, little human?" "Nothing. Just tunnels." Rule stepped closer. "I have heard reports of an animal living in those tunnels. A creature from Earth. Dangerous and unpredictable. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you?" Lily's heart pounded. She kept her face blank the way her father taught her. "Never show fear to predators." That was what he said. Lots of species in the galaxy were predators. "I don't know about any animal," she said. Then, "You won't mind if I investigate, Rull?" Pushed past her and headed for the vent she had climbed through. "Wait. Please don't," Lily said, following him. "There's nothing down there." "Then there is no problem." Rull was too big for the vent. He pulled out a tool from his belt and started removing the vent cover completely. Lily's chest felt tight. She wanted to run and get her father, but it was too late. Rull would find Badger before she could bring help. The security chief crawled into the tunnel. Lily heard him moving through the metal passage. She pressed her face to the opening and tried to see in the darkness. Then she heard Badger's warning growl. "So there is something down here," Rull's voice echoed. "A pest, vermin. No wonder the station has had hygiene issues. He's not vermin. He's my friend. Please don't hurt him." Lily heard scuffling. Then Badger made a sound she had never heard before. A yelp of pain. Everything inside Lily went cold and quiet. Rull backed out of the tunnel, dragging Badger by the scruff of his neck. The honey badger was limp and bleeding. One of his legs hung at a wrong angle. Rull's shock baton was still crackling with electricity. "This animal is a security threat," Rull said. "It will be destroyed properly." Lily stared at Badger's small body. His eyes were closed. She couldn't tell if he was breathing. Something broke inside her chest, but it didn't feel like sadness. It felt like ice spreading through her veins. She looked up at Rule. The Formacht was busy putting his baton away, satisfied with himself. That was a big mistake, Lily whispered. Rule laughed. It was a harsh barking sound. Is that a threat, little human? What will you do? Cry to your father? File a complaint? I am Chief Security Officer. I enforce the rules on this station. You heard him, Lily said. Her voice was still quiet, but something in it made Roll stop laughing. It is just an animal. Your species has such foolish attachments to creatures. This is why humans are weak. Roll grabbed Lily's arm and pulled her toward the residential section. He carried Badger's unconscious body in his other hand like garbage. I want my father, Lily said. You will have him, and he will be told that his daughter was trespassing in restricted areas and keeping a dangerous animal in violation of station regulations. They walked through the corridors. People stared. Some looked sympathetic. Most looked away. Nobody stopped the chief security officer. Lily didn't cry. She didn't struggle. She just walked beside Rule and looked at Badger's bleeding body and thought about everything her mother had taught her about animals, about predators, about survival. Her mother used to say that honey badgers were survivors. They didn't give up. They didn't back down. They remembered everything. Lily was going to remember this. When they reached her quarters, Robert Carter opened the door. His face went pale when he saw his daughter and the injured animal. What happened? He demanded. Your daughter was keeping an unauthorized creature in the maintenance tunnels, Rule said. He dropped Badger onto the floor. She was trespassing in restricted areas. The animal attacked me and I defended myself. It will be disposed of according to regulation. Robert knelt beside Badger. His hands shook as he checked for breathing. He's alive, barely. Not for long, Rule said. I will return tomorrow to collect the body. He left without another word. Robert looked at his daughter. Lily was staring at the closed door with eyes that seemed older than 8 years. Lily? She finally looked at him. Dad, can you save him? Robert picked up Badger carefully. I'll try. But Lily, what Rule said about remembering this? What did you mean? Lily's expression didn't change. He hurt Badger. That was a mistake. People shouldn't hurt things that can't fight back. Robert felt a chill run down his spine. He recognized that look. He had seen it in the mirror during his military days. Right before a mission. His 8-year-old daughter was planning something and somehow, Robert knew the chief security officer had no idea what he had just started. Dr. Yara Okonkwo worked fast. Her medical bay smelled like antiseptic and recycled air. Badger lay on the examination table under bright lights. His breathing was shallow and uneven. Robert stood against the wall, arms crossed. Lily sat in a chair nearby, watching every movement the doctor made. She hadn't spoken in an hour. The leg is broken in 2 places, Dr. Okonkwo said. She injected something into Badger's side. 3 ribs cracked. Internal bleeding, but not severe. The shock baton caused nerve damage. She paused. He's lucky to be alive. Can you fix him? Lily asked. I can stabilize him. The rest depends on him. Honey badgers are tough, but this is serious. Dr. Okonkwo worked for another 30 minutes. She set the broken leg in a small cast and wrapped Badger's torso in compression bandages. She hooked up an IV line for fluids and medication. He needs to stay here for observation, the doctor said. At least a week. I want to stay with him, Lily said. Lily, you need to go to school, Robert said gently. I'm staying. Robert looked at Dr. Okonkwo. The doctor shrugged. She can stay during off hours. Might help him, actually. Animals recover better with familiar presence, Robert sighed. Fine. But you eat proper meals and do your schoolwork here. Understood? Lily nodded without looking away from Badger. Robert left to file an official complaint against Rule. Dr. Okonkwo cleaned her instruments. Lily pulled her chair closer to the examination table and rested her hand near Badger's head. You're going to be okay, she whispered. I promise. Hours passed. Lily did her homework on a datapad. She ate the sandwich Dr. Okonkwo brought her. She watched Badger breathe. Around midnight station time, she accessed her mother's old files. The password was easy. Her birthday. Her father never changed it because he couldn't bear to delete anything that belonged to his dead wife. Lily read through years of research. Her mother had studied aggressive response patterns in species across the galaxy, territorial behaviors, protective instincts. Revenge cycles. The files were complicated, but Lily was smart. She had always been smart. People forgot that because she was quiet and small. She found a file labeled Wehrmacht Psychology and Social Structure. She read it 3 times. Wehrmacht valued strength and hierarchy. Weakness was not tolerated. They climbed ranks through displays of power. But their society had rules. Break those rules and you fell hard. Dishonor was worse than death to them. Lily opened another screen and accessed the station's personnel files. Her father had given her low-level access years ago so she could message him during emergencies. She had never abused it before. She looked up Chief Security Officer Draven Roll, service record, commendations, disciplinary actions. There were 3 official complaints against him in the past year. All dismissed. All filed by lower-ranking crew members. 2 were filed by humans. Lily dug deeper. She found shift schedules, security protocols, access logs. She studied the pattern of Rule's day. Where he went. When he went. Who he met with. "You should be sleeping," Dr. Okonkwo said from the doorway. Lily closed the screens quickly. "I'm not tired." The doctor sat down in another chair. She looked at Lily for a long moment. "Your mother was my friend. Did you know that?" Lily shook her head. She was brilliant. Stubborn, too. When she wanted to understand something, she wouldn't stop until she did. Dr. Okonkwo smiled sadly. "You remind me of her." "I miss her," Lily said quietly. "I know, baby. We all do." They sat in silence. Badger's breathing was steadier now. The monitors showed his vitals improving slowly. "Dr. Okonkwo," Lily said, "what happens if someone in security breaks the rules?" "Like really breaks them?" The doctor's expression shifted. "Why do you ask?" "Just wondering." "Lily." Dr. Okonkwo leaned forward. "Whatever you're thinking, don't. Roll is dangerous. He has power here. He hurt Badger. I know he did. And your father filed a complaint. Let the adults handle this." Lily didn't respond. She turned back to watch Badger sleep. Dr. Okonkwo left eventually. Lily waited until the medical bay was quiet. Then she opened the files again. Over the next 3 days, a pattern emerged on the station. Small things went wrong in the security department. Nothing major. Just annoying glitches. Door access codes stopped working randomly. Surveillance cameras looped old footage for 30-second intervals. Security reports got misfiled in the wrong databases. Shift schedules displayed incorrect information. Roll blamed the technical staff. He filed complaints against the IT department. But the problems kept happening. On the 4th day, Robert Carter found his daughter in the medical bay. She was sitting with Badger, who was awake now but still weak. The honey badger's eyes followed movement, and he ate small amounts of food. "Lily, we need to talk," Robert said. They went to a private corner of the medical bay. Robert kept his voice low. "Did you access the security network?" "No," Lily said. It wasn't technically a lie. She hadn't accessed the security network directly. Something strange is happening with security systems. IT can't figure it out. And Rule is going insane trying to fix everything. Robert studied his daughter's face. "He's talking about having Badger destroyed. Says the animal is too dangerous to keep on station." Lily's jaw tightened. "He can't do that. Badger didn't do anything wrong. I know, but Rule has authority here. The station commander might side with him. That's not fair." "No, it's not." Robert crouched down to Lily's eye level. "Listen to me carefully. I know you're upset. I know you want to do something. But you need to be smart about this. Roll is not a good man, but he's protected by his position. What if someone could prove he was bad at his job?" Lily asked. Robert's eyes narrowed. "What do you mean?" "Nothing. Just thinking." Robert grabbed his daughter's shoulders gently. "Lily Carter, look at me. Are you doing something you shouldn't be doing?" Lily met his eyes. "I'm taking care of Badger. That's all." Robert didn't believe her, but he couldn't prove anything. He kissed her forehead and left for his shift. Lily went back to Badger. The honey badger made a soft chirping sound when she stroked his head. "Don't worry," she whispered. "He's not going to hurt you again. I'm making sure of it." That night, more problems hit the security department. An entire wing's worth of access cards stopped working. The emergency alert system triggered false alarms. Prisoner transport schedules got corrupted, and in the maintenance tunnels Lily knew so well, a small network of cleaning staff and low-level technicians received anonymous messages. Instructions for tiny acts of mischief. Nothing illegal. Just helpful mistakes at exactly the right times. A Torellian janitor who Rule had humiliated last month. A young Venchari technician who Rule had demoted unfairly. A human maintenance worker who was tired of being called weak. They didn't know who was coordinating them. But they followed the instructions because they all had reasons to dislike the chief security officer. Lily read through more of her mother's files. She learned about pack behavior, about how predators could be distracted, about how the best defense was patience. Badger grew stronger each day. He started moving around his recovery cage. He hissed at Dr. Okonkwo but was gentle with Lily. On the 7th day, Rull came to the medical bay. He wore his full uniform and carried an official pad. "I have authorization to remove the animal," he announced. Dr. Okonkwo stepped between him and Badger's cage. "He's still recovering. Moving him could kill him. That is not my concern. The creature is a security threat. Based on what evidence?" a voice said from the doorway. Lieutenant David Park walked in. He was the highest-ranking human in security, though Rule never gave him real authority. He carried his own data pad. "I've reviewed the incident report," Park said. "The animal was in a restricted area, yes, but it was contained. It didn't attack anyone. You entered its space and struck first. It is an animal. It has no rights under station law." "Actually," Park said, checking his pad, "Regulation 47C states that Earth fauna brought aboard for scientific research must be treated humanely unless they pose immediate danger. This honey badger was part of the xenobiology program, and it posed no immediate danger when you shocked it." Rull's scales darkened with anger. "Are you questioning my judgment, Lieutenant?" "I'm citing regulations, sir. As security personnel, we both follow the same rules." The two men stared at each other. Lily watched from behind Dr. Okonkwo. She saw the calculation in Park's eyes. He knew he was risking his career. Finally, Rull turned and left without another word. Park looked at Lily. Their eyes met for just a moment. He nodded slightly, then followed Rull out. Lily smiled for the first time in a week. The game was starting. Station Commander Halrix called an emergency meeting. The insectoid Keithine sat at the head of the conference table, compound eyes reflecting the dim lights. Department heads filled the other seats. Rull stood near the back, his posture rigid. "We are here to discuss the animal situation," Halrix said. His mandibles clicked between words. "Chief Rull has requested the creature's destruction. Dr. Okonkwo has objected. I want facts before making a decision." Rull stepped forward. "Commander, the creature is a honey badger from Earth, small, weak, insignificant. It poses no real threat, but keeping it violates multiple regulations. It lives in maintenance tunnels, contaminating our life support systems. The child who feeds it trespasses in restricted areas daily. This is a security and health concern. Dr. Okonkwo?" Halrix turned to the human doctor. She stood and activated a holographic display. An image of a honey badger appeared, rotating slowly. "Honey badgers are from Earth, yes, but calling them weak is inaccurate." She changed the display to show various videos. They fight lions. They raid beehives despite thousands of stings. They have been documented killing venomous snakes and eating them. There's a recorded case of one digging out of a cage using tools, escaping from a wildlife facility 6 times. Several aliens around the table looked skeptical. "They're fearless," Dr. Okonkwo continued. "They don't back down from threats regardless of size. In Earth culture, honey badgers represent determination and survival. We have expressions about them. Memes. Videos watched by millions. We admire them. Why?" asked a Peltharian trade officer. "Why admire such aggression?" Dr. Okonkwo looked directly at Rull. "Because we see ourselves in them. They don't care about size or strength. They care about survival and protecting their territory. They never give up, ever." The room was quiet. "The honey badger currently in medical bay is named Badger," Dr. Okonkwo said. "He was part of our xenobiology research program. He escaped 6 months ago because his enclosure wasn't properly secured. He's been living peacefully in the maintenance tunnels since then. He bothered no one until Chief Rull entered his space and attacked him with a shock baton." "The creature attacked me," Rull said. "After you cornered him in a confined space," Dr. Okonkwo countered. "Natural defensive behavior." Halrix made a clicking sound. "What is your recommendation, Doctor?" "Let the child keep him as a registered companion animal. He's already bonded to her. He's no danger if left alone. And killing him would be cruel after he's already suffered serious injury. Sentiment has no place in station regulations, Rule said. This is exactly why humans are considered weak by most species. You form emotional attachments to creatures that serve no purpose. Lieutenant David Park stood up from where he'd been sitting quietly. Commander, may I speak? Halrix gestured permission. I've reviewed security footage from the past 6 months, Park said. The honey badger has been in those tunnels the entire time. Not one incident. Not one complaint. He stayed hidden and avoided contact with crew. The only person he interacted with was 8-year-old Lily Carter. She fed him. He trusted her. That's not dangerous behavior. That's selective trust. Park pulled up his own data display. I've also reviewed Chief Rule's incident report. He pursued the animal into its territory despite the child's warnings. He used a weapon classified for subduing sentient prisoners on a small trapped animal. The level of force was excessive. Rule's eyes narrowed. You forget your place, Lieutenant. I'm doing my job, sir. Reviewing security incidents objectively. The tension in the room was thick enough to cut. Other department heads watched with interest. Human Wehrmacht conflicts were becoming more common on the station. Halrix clicked his mandibles several times, thinking, I will make my decision tomorrow. Dr. Okonkwo, keep the animal secured. Chief Rule, no further action until I rule. Meeting dismissed, everyone filed out. Park left quickly, avoiding Rule's glare. Dr. Okonkwo gathered her data and headed back to the medical bay. Rule stayed behind, alone in the conference room. He pulled out his personal comm and made a call. This is getting out of hand, he said quietly. The humans are organizing. That lieutenant challenged me openly. The doctor made me look foolish. He listened to the response. Yes, I understand. I'll handle it tonight. The animal will be gone before the commander makes his ruling. An accident. These things happen. He ended the call and smiled. In the medical bay, Lily sat with Badger. The honey badger was much stronger now. He could walk on his healing leg, though he limped. His ribs were still sore, but he ate well and his eyes were bright. You're getting better, Lily said softly. She fed him small pieces of dried meat. Dad says the commander will decide tomorrow if you can stay. Badger made a contented churring sound. He climbed into her lap carefully, mindful of his injuries. Lily stroked his fur and pulled out her data pad. She had been busy for days. Not just with station systems. She had been talking to people, quietly, carefully. The Torellian janitor named Prex who cleaned the security wing. He had access to Roll's office. He owed Lily a favor now because she had helped his daughter with math homework. The Venshari technician named Kess who maintained surveillance systems. She was angry because Rule had blamed her for technical problems that weren't her fault. A human maintenance worker named Bill who knew every tunnel and duct on the station. He was tired of Rule calling humans weak and clumsy. And others. Small voices. Overlooked people. The ones who nobody paid attention to. Lily had learned something important from her mother's research. Predators always watched other predators. But they ignored prey. And that was a mistake. She opened a secure message channel. Her father had taught her basic encryption when she was 6. She had improved it on her own. The message went to 5 different people. Tonight. Be ready. That was all it said. Around 2300 hour station time, Lily was supposed to be asleep in her quarters. Instead, she was in a maintenance access corridor near the medical bay. Badger was in a secure carrier beside her. She had convinced Dr. Okonkwo to let her do one final checkup at home before the commander's decision. The doctor had believed her because Lily never lied, except this once. She heard footsteps, heavy boots on metal floor. 2 people, maybe 3. They were trying to be quiet, but Wehrmacht were not built for stealth. Lily pressed herself into a shadowed alcove. Badger sensed danger and went very still. Rule appeared around the corner with 2 security officers. They moved toward the medical bay entrance. Remember, Rule said quietly, the animal escaped during the night. We pursued it into the maintenance tunnels. It fell into a waste disposal shaft. Tragic accident. Nobody's fault. The other officers nodded. They looked uncomfortable but followed orders. They entered the medical bay. Lily heard Rule curse when he found Badger's cage empty. Find it, Rule snarled. Search every room. Lily moved quickly through the corridors she knew so well. She had mapped every path months ago. She knew which routes had cameras and which didn't. She knew where blind spots existed. She reached a cargo bay on the lower level. It was supposed to be empty, scheduled for maintenance. But when she entered, she found Lieutenant Park waiting. Dr. Okonkwo was there too. So was her father. "Lily," Robert said. "What have you done?" "What I had to," Lily said simply. "She called us," Park explained. "All of us." Separate messages with meeting coordinates. "Why?" Robert asked his daughter. Lily set down the carrier and opened it. Badger climbed out, sniffing the new environment. "Roll is coming to kill Badger tonight," Lily said. "I heard him planning it. He's going to make it look like an accident. He's going to lie to the commander." "How did you hear him planning this?" Park asked carefully. "Prex, the janitor, has cleaning duty in Roll's office. He installed a small audio recorder for me yesterday. It's not illegal. It's just a recorder. Happens to be in the right place." Park's eyes widened. "Lily, that's surveillance without authorization." "No, it's not. It's just a recorder. Anyone could put a recorder anywhere. And what it recorded is very interesting." She pulled out her datapad and played audio. Rule's voice was clear, discussing his plan to kill Badger and frame it as an accident. But there was more. Other conversations. Rull talking about bribes he'd taken to overlook certain shipments. Rull discussing how to manipulate prisoner transfer schedules for profit. Rull planning to frame a human crew member for theft to get him fired. Dr. Okonkwo covered her mouth. "How long have you been recording?" 5 days. Since he came to take Badger the first time. I knew he wouldn't give up. People like him never do." Park took the datapad with shaking hands. He scrolled through files. Hours of recordings, all time-stamped, all documented. "This is enough to end his career," Park said quietly. "This is enough to put him in prison." "I know," Lily said. She picked up Badger and held him close. "He hurt my friend. He was going to kill him." "That's not okay. Someone had to stop him." Robert stared at his daughter. She was 8 years old. She had orchestrated surveillance, built a network of informants, gathered evidence, and set a trap. "Lily," he said slowly, "this is incredibly dangerous. If Rule finds out you did this, he won't. Because you're going to take credit for it." Everyone looked at her. "Lieutenant Park," Lily continued, "you've been investigating corruption in the security department for months. You suspected Rule but couldn't prove it. You finally got evidence through a confidential informant. You brought it to the station commander tonight. Right?" Park understood immediately. "Right. And Dr. Okonkwo will testify about Badger's injuries and Roll's excessive force." "Yes," the doctor said. "And Dad, you're just a worried father who wanted to keep his daughter's pet safe." Robert couldn't speak. His daughter had planned everything. Every detail. Every angle. She was 8 years old. Commander Halrix arrived at the cargo bay within 15 minutes of Park's emergency call. The insectoid moved fast when necessary. 2 neutral security officers accompanied him, not part of Rule's usual team. "This had better be important, Lieutenant," Halrix said. His translator made his clicking sound irritated. Park handed him the datapad. "Sir, I've been investigating irregularities in the security department for the past 3 months. I finally received concrete evidence from a confidential source tonight." Halrix listened to the first recording, then the second. His compound eyes darkened as he processed what he heard. He listened for 10 minutes without interruption. "Where is Chief Rule now?" he asked. "In the medical bay, sir. Looking for the honey badger. He plans to kill it and claim it was an accident. The animal is here." Halrix looked at Lily, who held Badger protectively. "I moved him for safety," Dr. Okonkwo said quickly. "Medical decision. The child's presence helps his recovery." Halrix made a series of clicks. In Cathine body language, it meant disgust. "Lieutenant Park, you will take command of security effective immediately. Assemble a team. Arrest Draven Rule on charges of corruption, abuse of authority, and attempted destruction of research property." "Yes, sir." "Dr. Okonkwo, document every injury on that animal. Detailed report on my desk in 2 hours." "Understood, Commander." Halrix turned to Lily. He leaned down, bringing his face level with hers. His compound eyes reflected her image 100 times. "You are very young," he said, "but you are not foolish. I suspect you are involved in this more than the adults claim." Lily met his gaze steadily. "I just wanted Badger to be safe." "Humans," Halrix clicked. "You form bonds that make no logical sense. An 8-year-old child and a wild predator. Yet here you are, and he trusts only you." He straightened up. "Keep the animal. Register him properly as companion animal. But if he bites anyone except Chief Rule, there will be consequences. He won't bite anyone, Lily promised. He's only mean to people who are mean first. Halrichs left with his security team. Park followed to coordinate Rule's arrest. Robert, Lily, and Dr. Okonkwo stayed in the cargo bay. Robert sat down heavily on a supply crate. Lily, we need to talk about what you did. I stopped a bad person, Lily said. You manipulated people. You set up surveillance. You built a network of informants. You planned all of this like a military operation. Robert rubbed his face. Where did you learn to do any of that? Mom's research files. Your engineering access codes. Things I figured out on my own. Lily sat next to her father, still holding Badger. You always said if something is wrong, you should fix it. Rule was wrong. Nobody else was fixing it. Adults should have handled this. Adults were scared of him. He had power. People with power don't get stopped unless someone makes them stop. Dr. Okonkwo shook her head. Your mother would be very proud and very concerned at the same time. I know, Lily said quietly. They heard shouting from the corridor. Rule's voice angry and loud. Security teams moving fast. The sound of a struggle, then silence. Park's voice came over the station intercom. All personnel, this is Lieutenant Park. Chief Security Officer Draven Rule has been placed under arrest pending investigation. Security operations continue normally under my temporary command. That is all. Lily felt tension leave her shoulders. Badger made a happy chittering sound and licked her hand. It's over, she said. No, Robert said. It's just beginning. You made an enemy tonight, sweetheart. Rule has friends, other Formacht who think like him. They won't forget this. Let them remember, Lily said. Her voice had an edge Robert had never heard before. Maybe they'll learn not to hurt things that can't fight back. The next day, word spread through the station fast. Rule had been arrested. Evidence of corruption was overwhelming. His security officers who helped him were being questioned. The Wehrmacht delegation was embarrassed and angry. Lily went to school like normal. The other kids stared at her. Everyone had heard about the honey badger incident. Some had heard rumors about who really gathered the evidence. A Wehrmacht boy named Kresh, older and bigger than Lily, blocked her path in the hallway. Your kind got one of my kind arrested, he said. Humans are always causing problems. He was going to kill my friend, Lily said calmly. Would you let someone kill your friend? It was just an animal. So if someone hurt your pet, you'd do nothing? Kresh hesitated. He had a small lizard he kept in his quarters. He loved that lizard. That's different, he said weakly. No, it's not. Lily walked past him. In the maximum security detention wing, prisoners had heard everything. News traveled fast in lockup. The worst criminals in the galaxy sat in their cells and talked about what happened. Gregor Vosch, a human who ran a smuggling empire before his capture, laughed when he heard the story. An 8-year-old took down Rule, he said to his cellmate. A child with a honey badger. That's the most human thing I've ever heard. Humans are weak, his cellmate said. The alien was a Dravix warrior who had killed 30 soldiers in single combat. No, Vosch said. Humans are patient. We look weak because we smile and make friends and follow rules. But you hurt something we love? You hurt our kids or our pets or our family? He grinned. That's when you find out what humans really are. The Dravix considered this. The child showed no fear. Only calculation, exactly. That's why you don't mess with humans. We don't get mad. We get even. Vosch managed to send a message through the prison network. It reached Lieutenant Park 3 hours later. The message was simple. Whatever you need, the human prisoners are with you. Park showed the message to Robert. They sat in Park's new temporary office, formerly Rule's office. Park had already started removing the Wehrmacht decorations. Your daughter started something, Park said. The humans on this station have been pushed around for 2 years. Treated like we're soft, weak, not important. Lily just proved we're none of those things. She's 8, Robert said. She's human. Age doesn't matter as much as what's in here. Park tapped his chest. She has the same thing we all have. That protective instinct, that refusal to give up. That's what makes us dangerous. Robert looked out the window at the stars beyond. I was a combat engineer in the Colonial Marines. Did you know that? I suspected. I've seen battles. I've planned operations. I've watched good people die. Robert turned back to Park. What Lily did was strategic, professional. She identified the target's weaknesses. She built assets. She gathered intelligence. She executed a plan with perfect timing. He paused. I taught her none of that. She learned by watching and reading. Kids do that. They absorb everything. That's what scares me. She's 8 and she can already outthink most adults. What happens when she's 18? Park smiled. She becomes someone you really don't want as an enemy. In the medical bay, Dr. Okonkwo finished her report on Badger's injuries. Every broken bone documented. Every bruise photographed. Every burn from the shock baton measured and recorded. The report was damning. It showed excessive force against a contained animal. It showed cruelty. It showed exactly what kind of person Rule was. She sent the report to Commander Halrix and Lieutenant Park. Then she went to check on Lily. The girl was in the recovery room with Badger. She had brought schoolwork and was reading a book about galactic law. Badger slept in her lap, his breathing steady and strong. How are you feeling? Dr. Okonkwo asked. Okay, Lily said. Is Badger really going to be okay? Yes, he's healing well. Another week and he'll be good as new. The doctor sat down. Lily, what you did was brave. But it was also dangerous. You could have been hurt. Rule could have come after you, I know. But nobody else was going to stop him. Adults should protect children, not the other way around. Then adults should do a better job, Lily said simply. She looked up from her book. You're my mom's friend. Did she ever tell you what she thought about protection? She said many things. She told me once that the strongest animals aren't always the biggest. Sometimes they're the ones who refuse to give up, the ones who fight for their family no matter what. Lily stroked Badger's fur. Honey badgers fight lions. They don't win because they're bigger. They win because they don't quit. Dr. Okonkwo felt tears in her eyes. Your mother would say exactly that. I miss her. I know, baby. They sat quietly together. Outside the medical bay, the station continued its routine. Ships docked and departed. Crew worked their shifts. Prisoners stayed locked in their cells. But something had changed. The humans walked a little taller. They spoke a little louder. They looked aliens in the eye instead of down, because an 8-year-old girl with a honey badger had taught the galaxy something important. Humans don't give up, and humans protect their own. 3 weeks passed. Draven Rule sat in a detention cell designed for high-ranking prisoners who fell from grace. The cell was clean but small. No decorations, no comfort. Just 4 walls and the weight of disgrace. The Confederation had sent investigators. They found everything: years of corruption, bribes, abuse of power, discrimination against multiple species. The evidence was overwhelming. The trial would be quick. Vormach justice was harsh for those who brought dishonor to their species. Rule would spend the rest of his life in prison. His name would be struck from family records. In Vormach culture, he would cease to exist. He knew who was responsible. The human child. The pathetic creature with her pet rodent. She had destroyed him. In his cell, he planned revenge. When he eventually got out, if he got out, he would make sure the girl understood what it meant to cross him. But those plans would never happen. The investigators found more than corruption. They found ties to a smuggling ring, weapons deals, classified information sold to hostile factions. What started as a simple abuse of power case became a matter of galactic security. Rule's sentence would not be comfortable prison time. It would be hard labor in a mining colony at the edge of known space, 20 years minimum. His species would never acknowledge he existed. Lieutenant David Park became permanent chief of security. Commander Halrix made the appointment official after reviewing Park's record. The human had been overlooked for promotion 3 times because Rule blocked it. No more. Park's first action was restructuring the security department. He promoted based on merit, not species. He established clear protocols for use of force. He created a review board for complaints that couldn't be dismissed by one person. The changes were noticed. Crew morale improved. Even prisoners commented that treatment was fairer. Park wore a small badge on his uniform. A honey badger symbol. Other human security officers started wearing them too. It became unofficial but recognized. The honey badger crew, the ones who didn't back down. Lily registered Badger as her official companion animal. The paperwork was complicated, but Dr. Okonkwo helped. Badger had to pass a behavioral assessment. He had to prove he wasn't a danger to station population. The assessment was conducted by a Peltharian animal behavior specialist named Vex. He was nervous when he arrived at the medical bay. Honey badgers had a reputation. Badger immediately hated him. The honey badger puffed up and showed teeth. He made aggressive warning sounds. Lily put her hand on Badger's back. "It's okay. He's not going to hurt you." Badger relaxed slightly but kept watching Vex. "Remarkable," Vex said, taking notes. "He responds to your voice immediately. Complete trust." For the next hour, Vex ran tests. Badger tolerated them only because Lily asked him to. He performed tasks. He showed he could follow commands. He demonstrated that he was aggressive only when threatened or protecting Lily. "He passes," Vex concluded, "but I must note this animal is bonded exclusively to you.
He will not accept other handlers."
If something happened to you, he would become dangerous." "Nothing will happen to me," Lily said. "You are 8 years old. You cannot guarantee that." "Then I'll make sure I stay safe so Badger stays safe too." Vex looked at the girl for a long moment. "You understand this animal better than most adults understand their pets." "How?" "My mom taught me about animals. She said you have to think like them. Badger doesn't see the world like we do. He sees threats and safety. I'm his safety. So I protect him and he protects me." Vex approved the registration. Badger was now legally Lily's companion animal with full rights and protections under station law. That night, there was a small celebration in the human quarters. Nothing official. Just the 47 humans on station gathering for food and drinks. Lily was there with her father. Badger stayed close to her, curious about the crowd but not aggressive. To Lily, Lieutenant Park raised his glass. "The youngest and possibly most dangerous human on this station." Everyone laughed. They drank. Someone made a joke about Roll's fall from grace. Someone else mentioned the honey badger videos from Earth that were trending in the station's entertainment network. Lily felt uncomfortable with the attention. She slipped away to a quiet corner. Badger followed. Robert found her there. "You okay, sweetheart?" "Everyone keeps saying I'm brave. But I was just scared. Scared Badger would die. Being brave doesn't mean not being scared. It means being scared and doing it anyway." Robert sat next to her. "You know what you did, right? You didn't just save Badger. You changed how humans are seen on this station. I just wanted Badger safe." "I know. But sometimes small actions have big consequences. People watched you stand up to rule. They watched you plan and execute a strategy that professional intelligence officers would be proud of. They watched an 8-year-old take down a corrupt security chief." Robert put his arm around her. "You inspired them, is that good?" "I don't know yet, but it's powerful." They sat together watching the celebration. Badger climbed into Lily's lap and made comfortable sounds. The next day at school was different. Kids who used to ignore Lily now wanted to talk to her. The Vormacht boy Kresh approached her at lunch. "My father says what you did was dishonorable," he said, "using tricks and manipulation instead of direct confrontation. Does your father think hurting a trapped animal is honorable?" Lily asked. Kresh didn't have an answer. He stood there awkwardly for a moment, then left. But a Torellian girl named Sana sat down across from Lily. "I think what you did was smart. You couldn't fight him physically, so you fought him differently. That's strategy." "Thanks," Lily said. "Can I meet Badger sometime?" "I've never seen an Earth animal up close," Lily smiled. "Sure, but you have to be calm around him. He doesn't like loud noises or sudden movements." Word spread that Lily would introduce people to Badger. Students started asking for appointments. Dr. Okonkwo set up a schedule. Twice a week, small groups could visit the medical bay and observe the honey badger. It became educational. Lily talked about Earth animals, about conservation, about why humans cared so much about creatures others saw as insignificant. The lessons were bigger than she realized. Young aliens learned that humans valued life in all forms, that size and strength weren't the only measures of worth, that bonds between species could be powerful. In the detention wing, Gregor Vosch watched updates on his cell screen. He saw the reports about Roll's trial. He saw the human security officers wearing honey badger badges. He saw the shifts in station politics. The girl changed the game, he said to himself. One kid with a pet. That's all it took. His cellmate, the Dravix warrior, grunted. Humans are strange. They fight for the weakest things. That's not weakness, Vosch said. That's strength. Real strength. Anyone can protect something strong. It takes real power to protect something small and vulnerable. The Dravix considered this. In his culture, warriors proved themselves by defeating powerful enemies. But maybe the humans understood something his people didn't. The child showed warrior spirit. the Dravik said finally. She identified her enemy's weakness and struck precisely. She used available resources. She achieved victory without violence. That is advanced strategy, Vosh smiled. Don't tell the humans that. They still think they're the underdogs of the galaxy. It's more fun watching them surprise everyone. Commander Halrix filed his final report on the Rule incident. He included analysis of human behavior patterns. His recommendations were sent to Confederation headquarters. The report concluded with an observation. Humans form emotional bonds that other species consider illogical. These bonds are frequently with weaker creatures, children, or those unable to defend themselves. Standard threat assessment models classify this as weakness. This analysis is incorrect. Human protective instincts, when triggered, make them extremely dangerous. They do not respond with immediate violence but with patient, calculated strategy. They build networks. They gather evidence. They strike when victory is certain. Recommendation: update threat assessment protocols for human populations. Previous classification as low-threat species should be reconsidered. The report was read by officials across the Confederation. It sparked debates. Some agreed with Halrix's assessment. Others claimed he was overreacting to one incident. But those who had experience with humans knew better. They had seen Earth's short but intense military history. They had studied human warfare. They understood that humans were pack hunters who evolved by cooperating and strategizing. The galaxy was slowly learning what Earth already knew. Humans were dangerous precisely because they looked harmless, and the most dangerous human was the one protecting something they loved. 6 months later, Orbital Station Blackrock looked different, not physically but in atmosphere. The changes were subtle but significant. Human crew walked with confidence. They held positions of authority. They were respected. The change started with one child and a honey badger, but it spread through the entire station culture. Lily was 9 now. She attended station school and got excellent grades. She helped Dr. Okonkwo in the medical bay. She visited her father in the engineering section. And everywhere she went, Badger went too. The honey badger was famous now. Ships arriving at the station heard stories about him. New crew members asked to see the animal that brought down a corrupt security chief. Badger tolerated the attention but remained loyal only to Lily. Dr. Okonkwo used Badger in her xenobiology classes. She taught about Earth's diverse fauna, about adaptation and survival, about why humanity valued all forms of life. Her most popular lecture was titled, Why Humans Love Honey Badgers. It was attended by crew from multiple species. Even some prisoners requested to watch the recording. Humans see themselves in honey badgers, Dr. Okonkwo explained to a room full of aliens. We're not the strongest species, not the fastest, not the biggest, but we're stubborn. We protect our own. We don't quit when things get hard. The honey badger is small but fierce. It fights animals 10 times its size. That's humanity's story. We were prey animals once, small primates hiding from predators. We survived by cooperating, by being smart, by refusing to give up. She showed videos from Earth. Honey badgers raiding beehives, fighting jackals, escaping from enclosures. The aliens watched with fascination. This is why the child fought so hard, a Cathene student said. She saw herself in the animal. Exactly, Dr. Okonkwo confirmed. Lily didn't just see a pet. She saw a reflection of human nature. When Rule attacked Badger, he attacked what that animal represented. He attacked human identity. He couldn't have picked a worse target. Lieutenant David Park walked through the security wing during night shift. His officers were alert and professional. The department ran smoothly now. Complaints had dropped by 70%. Prisoner treatment had improved. Even the worst criminals admitted that fairness had returned to Blackrock. Park wore his honey badger badge with pride. It had become a symbol of the new security culture. Fair but firm, protective but not cruel, strong enough to admit when strength wasn't needed. A young officer approached him. Sir, there's a situation in the visitors' bay. New arrivals asking specifically for you. Park went to investigate. A Vormak delegation had arrived. 3 officials in formal attire. They looked uncomfortable. Lieutenant Park, the lead delegate said, we represent the Vormak Confederation. We're here to offer official apologies for Draven Rule's behavior. His actions brought dishonor to our species. We want to make amends, Park studied them. Amends how? We've established a cultural exchange program. Vormak youth will study human philosophy and ethics. We want to understand your species better. We underestimated you. That was a mistake. Yes, it was, Park said simply. We also want to meet the child, Lily Carter. She demonstrated qualities we value: strategic thinking, patience, protecting the weak. These are warrior virtues in our culture. We wish to honor her. Park was surprised. She's 9 years old. Age is irrelevant. She defeated a Wehrmacht officer through superior tactics. That deserves recognition. Park brought them to the residential section. Robert Carter was skeptical when told about the delegation's request, but he allowed the meeting. Lily sat in her quarters with Badger in her lap. The 3 Wehrmacht delegates entered and bowed formally. Badger immediately bristled and showed teeth. It's okay, Lily said softly. Badger relaxed slightly but kept watching. Lily Carter, the lead delegate said. I am Corvex, representative of the Wehrmacht Confederation. We come to honor you. Why? Lily asked. You defeated one of our warriors through strategy and planning. You used his weaknesses against him. You built alliances. You struck at the perfect moment. These are the methods of a master tactician. I just wanted Badger safe. You accomplished more than that. You changed how our species views humans. We thought you were weak because you show emotion. We were wrong. Emotion makes you dangerous when properly directed. Corvex placed a small box on the table. This is a Wehrmacht honor blade. Ceremonial, not a weapon. It's given to warriors who defeat opponents through superior strategy. You're the first non-Wehrmacht to receive one. The first child of any species. Lily looked at the ornate blade in its case. She didn't take it. I don't want honors for hurting someone. You didn't hurt him. You exposed his corruption. You protected your companion. You made justice happen when others wouldn't. Corvex gestured to the blade. This isn't about revenge. It's about standing up to wrongdoing. That deserves recognition. Lily looked at her father. Robert nodded slightly. She took the box. Thank you, she said quietly. But Roll made his own choices. I just made sure people knew about them. The delegates bowed again and left. Robert closed the door and sat with his daughter. You're becoming famous, he said. That honey badger incident is spreading across the galaxy. There are news reports, academic papers, cultural analysis. You started something bigger than you realize. I just wanted Badger safe, Lily repeated. It was her standard answer now, I know. But sometimes small actions ripple outward. You showed the galaxy that humans protect what we love. You showed that being small doesn't mean being weak. You showed that patience and intelligence can defeat brute force. Robert smiled. Your mom would be incredibly proud. Lily felt tears in her eyes. She still missed her mother every day, but she was learning to carry that grief while living her life. Do you think she knew? Lily asked. That I would do something like this? Your mother always said you were special. She saw how you thought about problems, how you studied everything, how you never gave up on puzzles. Robert hugged his daughter. She knew you'd do something important. Maybe not exactly this, but something. In the observation deck, Commander Halrick stood looking at the stars. Lieutenant Park joined him. The Wehrmacht delegation just left, Park said. They honored Lily Carter. I heard. Halrick's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. The incident continues to have consequences. Positive ones mostly. But I worry. About what? The child is 9 years old. She orchestrated the downfall of a senior officer. She built intelligence networks. She manipulated multiple individuals to achieve her goal. Halrick turned to Park. What happens when she grows up? Park smiled. She becomes someone you want on your side, or someone you never want as an enemy. That too. They watched ships come and go. The station was busy as always. Life continued, but both of them knew things had changed permanently. Humans are interesting, Halrick said. Most species show strength through size or weapons or aggression. Humans show strength through bonds, through loyalty, through refusing to abandon those they care about. We're pack animals, Park said. Always have been. We survive by working together and protecting each other, even protecting small Earth creatures that most species would consider insignificant, especially them, because they can't protect themselves. That's when humans are most dangerous. When we're protecting something that can't fight back. Halrick clicked in agreement. I included that observation in my report to the Confederation. They're revising their assessment of human threat levels. We're not a threat unless provoked. That's what makes you dangerous, Lieutenant. You look peaceful until someone hurts what you love. Then you become unstoppable. In her quarters, Lily did homework while Badger slept beside her. The honey badger was fully healed now. His leg was strong. His ribs were perfect. The scars from the shock baton were hidden under fur, but Lily remembered. She would always remember the moment Rule struck Badger, the fear, the anger, the cold calculation that followed. She learned something important that day. She learned she was capable of things she hadn't known. She could plan. She could manipulate. She could build networks and execute strategies. It was scary and empowering at the same time. Her datapad beeped. A message from Dr. Okonkwo. Another group wanted to meet Badger tomorrow, students from a visiting education ship. Lily smiled and confirmed the appointment. She liked teaching people about Earth animals. She liked showing them that small creatures could be brave and strong. She stroked Badger's fur. He made happy sounds in his sleep. "We're doing good things," she whispered. Mom would be proud. Outside her window, stars shined in the black of space. Ships traveled between them carrying goods and people and stories. One of those stories was about a child and her honey badger, about standing up to corruption, about protecting those who couldn't protect themselves. The story spread through the galaxy. It was told in bars and ships and stations. It was studied in military academies and cultural institutes. It became a lesson about humanity. Don't underestimate them. Don't dismiss them as weak. And most importantly, never hurt what they love, because humans were patient predators. They looked soft and emotional and vulnerable. But that was camouflage. When threatened, when protecting their own, they became something else entirely. They became unstoppable. The warden struck the honey badger. The child whispered that it was a mistake, and the galaxy learned what humanity had always known. Size doesn't determine strength. Love does, and there is no force in the universe more powerful than a human protecting something they love. Not even a child. Especially not a child. Lily Carter closed her homework and prepared for bed. Tomorrow she would teach more students about Badger. She would continue her classes. She would help her father with engineering projects. She would be a normal 9-year-old girl with a unique pet. But the galaxy would never see her as just a child again. They would see her as proof that humans were more than they seemed. That human bonds were weapons as powerful as any technology, and they would remember the lesson. Never threaten what a human loves, ever,